What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So the day we've been waiting for ever since the announcement is finally here for Miles Morales. It is available to play and it has left me stunned. So here is my brutally honest review on this game with every bit of feeling that I have towards it, I guess you could say, and Insomniac as a whole. Now, before we do dive into the video, if you have played the game, just let me know what you rate it out of 10 in the comments below. Don't say anything else, just rate it from 1 to 10, and I want to see how people are feeling about this. Now, I'm also doing a giveaway with Instant Gaming where you can win a game of your choice, so if you haven't entered that, go ahead and enter it. The link will be in the description below. I also have a second channel more towards you guys that are, I guess, trying to venture into entrepreneurship in terms of starting up side businesses or online businesses and so forth. So if you're interested in that stuff, the first video went live on that channel for top 5 side hustles that cost $0 to start. So if that is your thing, go ahead and check out that video. I'll leave a link in the description below. But let's dive into this review because I finally finished the game, and if you finished the game as well, you will know there was a very cool little, I guess, surprise at the end of the game, which I think was a nice touch by Insomniac Games. Now, for spoiler reasons, I'm not going to say what that is, of course, but like I said, if you have finished the game, then you know exactly what I'm on about, and I think that's just an awesome move on Insomniac Games' part. Now, to kick it off, the first thing that just stunned me with this game, right, is the fact that it feels so different, although we're playing in the same world as Spider-Man PS4, right? Like, typically nothing's changed, at least that I'm aware of anyway. Now, just for the record, I'm unfortunately having to play on the PlayStation 4 because Sony decided in my country to only give the country like 15 consoles apparently, so it's just extremely hard to get, and that's why I'm stuck on the PlayStation 4 for the time being. But that being said, considering that I'm on the PlayStation 4 and going on what I said about the fact of it basically still being in the same world as Spider-Man PS4 and nothing really changing, I mean, too dramatically, right, I guess you could say, it feels like it's a complete different game. And this is what really made me come down to the decision that felt weird to say because I was a big fan of Spider-Man PS4, but it feels like this game is actually way better than Spider-Man PS4 in terms of when it comes down to the story as a whole. And Spider-Man PS4 was great, right? But with Miles' story, there's just so many moments in this game where you can just relate almost to this character, right? You basically feel as if you are that character, but when he has like the relationships with people in his family and so forth, there's so many sort of suspense moments, and then you have a bit of information on one side, and you know later in the game but you know the character isn't aware of what's about to happen and you are, so there's a lot of, like, I guess these almost dramatic, like, oh my god, no way is that gonna happen moments that do happen. And I think this is what makes this really fun. So the story aspect of this game, they have absolutely nailed it, and for a game that's like $50, right, this is just insane in terms of the content that we are getting. It really is a standalone game. The fact that any of us ever even attempted to call this game a DLC is just mind-boggling. The story is just absolutely phenomenal, and there's so much you can do when it comes down to the side activities as well, which now I do prefer, and that's something I want to go on to next. So we know that, of course, his friend Miles Morales' mate basically created this app and so forth, and how it allows people in New York, right, as a whole, to report their problems, and then it kind of flags up and you can either choose to go ahead and basically tackle the problem or not. The cool thing about this is, again, it's actually seeing how people's opinions on Miles change as they go, well, as you proceed through the game, right? So the further on you get in the game, you can see how the civilians, the NPCs, whatever you want to call them, really do appreciate this Spider-Man. And there really is a separation between him and Peter Parker, and the way Insomniac Games have portrayed it is really phenomenal. So the app is a great way just to, I guess, randomly turn up to these situations as well, know knowing that these people did request for your help as well. So as far as that stuff goes down, I think that was really cool. One small feature I think would have been a nice touch. It doesn't change anything too dramatically, but going on the basis of how old Miles is in this game as well, and the whole social media aspect of things, we hear multiple times, as I've said as well, you know, people start to like Miles and then the app basically gets more popular and Miles has more fans. So one thing that I think would have been really cool is a small little touch, right? But if you could have had your own little profile on this social media platform and you can basically see your followers going up, and then maybe, I guess you could say, just get these random interactions, right, with the AI in the game on your social media posts. And I think it's a small thing, but it kind of would have just gone a long way, and that would have been cool. But nonetheless, overall in that aspect, it's great. Now when it comes down to the web swinging, wow, really nailed this as well. Like honestly, if I had to say the bad things in this game, I mean, sure, there are the odd glitches in the game that are a bit weird, but like nothing too, you know, game changing. My game did unfortunately crash once, but again, I didn't lose any saves or anything like that, so it didn't really bug me out. So two things before I go on to the web swinging as well is the load time on this game. Now considering I'm playing on the PlayStation 4, the loading time is still really quick somehow, which is just great. But going on to that whole web swinging and combat aspect, this is where they really changed the dial and just turned it up to the max. So we all know Miles is inexperienced, right? And you guys know, as you'll be seeing in the gameplay in the background probably, when it comes down to web swinging, it just flows so naturally in the sense of all the mistakes he's making, and you can feel like he's not 100% with it, but it weirdly feels cool to not be fluent when you're web swinging. So almost seeing him drop and he's actually struggling, falling through the sky, and then just basically able to web swing and save himself, that is really unique. So I love that, and I love the moves that you can do as well. They really changed that up from Spider-Man PS4. Now considering this is the only, second Spider-Man game they've made, and knowing that this is a complete different story just has me super stoked up for the official Spider-Man 2, which we know we are going to get as well. Now when it comes down to Npc interaction, this is one thing that has really changed a lot. Again, you probably will see it at some point in the gameplay, but with things like being able to dance around the civilians is a nice little touch. You got more people interacting with each other. Also though, you have really random events going on with the NPCs. So for example, you can see like parents with a pram in the snow doing a snowman, right? But the baby's in a buggy and you can't obviously see that, and the parents are just basically doing the angels in the snow, right? Just dropping down and having fun. And I think that's what really stands out, because it makes the world feel so much more alive. So with the cons of this game, I honestly don't even want to say I feel biased here, right? But considering we had Marvel's Avengers earlier this year, and yes, I know they are two completely, I guess, different types of games, because, you know, Avengers wasn't an open world game, but this just shows how a Marvel game should be, and I think this was just nailed and really polished to a T. This is just fantastic overall. So my rating for this would be, and I honestly would never really give a game a straight 10 out of 10 because I always feel there's room for improvement, but with this game I am giving a solid 10 out of 10. Without a doubt, there's basically little to nothing that I would change about it. I mean, maybe location, but that's probably about it. Absolutely nothing else, right? Literally nothing else. So this is a great game overall, and I absolutely love it. And let's see where we'll go in Spider-Man 2. If we'll stick around in New York, will we maybe, you know, push into Europe? We just have no idea, but we'll have to wait and see. But guys, that's going to wrap up this video here. Subscribe for more awesome content, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day, and adios amigos.